Hi everybody, welcome back to Bible in a Year. My name is Natalie and today we're on day 143. I am so happy that you're here today and I hope your day is going fantastic. Today we're going to be reading Numbers chapter 35, Isaiah chapter 30, but only verses 1 through 17, Matthew chapter 20, and then we're going to close out the day with Psalm 86, but only verses 1 through 10. So let's get started with Numbers chapter 35. Here we go. Yahweh spoke to Moses in the plains of Moab by the Jordan at Jericho, saying, "Command the children of Israel to give to the Levites cities to dwell in out of their inheritance. You shall give pasture lands for the cities around them to the Levites. They shall have the cities to dwell in. Their pasture lands shall be for their livestock, and for their possessions, and for all their animals. The pasture lands of the cities which you shall give to the Levites shall be from the wall of the city and outward 1,000 cubits around it. You shall measure outside of the city for the east side 2,000 cubits, and for the south side 2,000 cubits, and for the west side 2,000 cubits, and for the north side 2,000 cubits, the city being in the middle. This shall be the pasture lands of their cities. The cities which you shall give to the Levites, they shall be the 6 cities of refuge, which you shall give for the manslayer to flee to. Besides them you shall give 42 cities. All the cities which you shall give to the Levites shall be 48 cities together with their pasture lands. Concerning the cities which you shall give of the possession of the children of Israel, from the many you shall take many, and from the few you shall take few. Every one according to his inheritance which he inherits shall give some of his cities to the Levites." Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel and tell them, when you pass over the Jordan into the land of Canaan, then you shall appoint for yourselves cities to be cities of refuge for you, that the manslayer who kills any person unwittingly may flee there. The cities shall be for your refuge from the avenger, and that the manslayer not die until he stands before the congregation for judgment. The cities which you shall give shall be for you 6 cities of refuge. You shall give 3 cities beyond the Jordan, and you shall give 3 cities in the land of Canaan. They shall be cities of refuge. These 6 cities shall be refuge for the children of Israel, for the stranger, and for the foreigner living among them, that every one who kills any person unwittingly may flee there." But if he struck him with an instrument of iron so that he died, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. If he struck him with a stone in the hand, by which a man may die, and he died, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. Or if he struck him with a weapon of wood in the hand, by which a man may die, and he died, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. The avenger of blood shall himself put the murderer to death. When he meets him, he shall put him to death. If he shoved him out of hatred, or hurled something at him while he was lying in wait so that he died, or in hostility struck him with his hand so that he died, he who struck him shall surely be put to death. He is a murderer. The avenger of blood shall put the murderer to death when he meets him. But if he shoved him suddenly without hostility, or hurled on him anything without lying in wait, or with any stone by which a man may die, not seeing him, and cast it on him so that he died, and he was not his enemy, and not seeking his harm, then the congregation shall judge between the striker and the avenger of blood according to these ordinances. The congregation shall deliver the manslayer out of the hand of the avenger of blood, and the congregation shall restore him to his city of refuge, where he had fled. He shall dwell therein until the death of the high priest who was anointed with the holy oil. But if the manslayer shall at any time go beyond the border of his city of refuge where he flees, and the avenger of blood finds him outside of the border of his city of refuge, and the avenger of blood kills the manslayer, he shall not be guilty of blood, because he should have remained in his city of refuge until the death of the high priest. But after the death of the high priest, the manslayer shall return into the land of his possession. These things shall be for a statute and ordinance to you throughout your generations in all your dwellings. Whoever kills any person, the murderer shall be slain based on the testimony of witnesses. But one witness shall not testify alone against any person so that he dies. Moreover, you shall take no ransom for the life of a murderer who is guilty of death. He shall surely be put to death. You shall take no ransom for him who has fled to his city of refuge, that he may come again to dwell in the land before the death of the priest. So you shall not pollute the land where you live, for blood pollutes the land. No atonement can be made for the land for the blood that is shed in it, but by the blood of him who shed it. You shall not defile the land which you inhabit, where I dwell, for I, Yahweh, dwell among the children of Israel. That was a rough chapter to read, because in these days of 2023, there are opinions on both sides on what to do with people who take the life of another person. There are opinions on both sides. And while, I don't feel it necessary to, say what position I'm on, I'm just here on the position of what the Bible says. And what the Bible said in the Old Testament, what God said for that generation, for that period of time, for the land that he gave them as a possession. This is what he said to do. Now, fast forward to 2023. Are we still under that time frame? History has shown that God has changed course for many different situations. I mean, we had Moses talking with God, God saying to Moses, hey, do this. And Moses saying, can we do it this way? And then God saying, well, yeah, okay, we can do it this way. God is while he is the same in his love and his willingness to have us in relationship, he does change course. And so when we find ourselves in 2023 with the laws of the death penalty, there are different views, different opinions. And all we can do is draw off of what God would have. We also draw off of what Jesus, who is the new covenant, would have. Have times changed? All right, moving into Isaiah chapter 30, verses 1 through 17. Woe to the rebellious children, says Yahweh, who take counsel, but not from me, and who make an alliance, but not with my spirit. that they may add sin to sin, who set out to go down into Egypt without asking for my advice, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to take refuge in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore, the strength of Pharaoh will be your shame, and the refuge in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. For their princes are at Zon, and their ambassadors have come to Hanes. They shall all be ashamed because of the people that can't profit them, that are not a help nor profit, but a shame, and also a reproach. The burden of the animals of the south. Through the land of the trouble and anguish of the lioness and the lion, the viper and the fiery flying serpent, they carry their riches on their shoulders of young donkeys and their treasures on the humps of camels to an unprofitable people. For Egypt helps in vain and to no purpose. Therefore I have called her Rahab, who sits still. Now go, write it before them on a tablet, and inscribe it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever. For it is a rebellious people, lying children, children who will not hear Yahweh's law, who tell the seers, don't see, and the prophets, don't prophesy to us right things, tell us pleasant things, prophesy deceits. Get out of the way, turn away from the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Therefore, the Holy One of Israel says, because you despise this word and trust in oppression and in perverseness and rely on it, therefore this iniquity shall be to you like a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking comes suddenly in an instant. He will break it as a potter's vessel is broken, breaking it in pieces without sparing, so that there won't be found among the broken pieces a piece good enough to take fire from the hearth, or to dip up water out of the cistern. For thus said the Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, you will be saved in returning and rest. Your strength will be in quietness and in confidence. You refused, but you said, no, for we will flee on horses. Therefore you will flee, and we will ride on the swift. Therefore those who pursue you will be swift. 1,000 will flee at the threat of one. At the threat of 5, you will flee until you are left like a beacon on the top of a mountain and like a banner on a hill. Okay, Matthew chapter 20, and Jesus is still talking. For the kingdom of heaven is like a man who was the master of a household, who went out early in the morning to hire laborers for his vineyard. When he had agreed with the laborers for a denarius a day, he sent them into his vineyard. He went out about the 3rd hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace. He said to them, you also go into the vineyard, and whatever is right I will give to you. So they went their way. Again he went out about the 6th and 9th hour, and did likewise. About the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle. He said to them, why do you stand here all day idle? They said to him, because no one has hired us. He said to them, you also go into the vineyard, and you will receive whatever is right. When evening had come, the Lord of the vineyard said to his manager, call the laborers and pay them their wages, beginning from the last to the first. When those who were hired at about the 11th hour came, they each received a denarius. When the first came, they supposed that they would receive more, and they likewise each received a denarius. When they received it, they murmured against the master of the household, saying, these last have spent 1 hour, and you have made them equal to us, who have borne the burden of the day and the scorching heat." But he answered one of them, "Friend, I am doing you no wrong. Didn't you agree with me for a denarius? Take that which is yours and go your way. It is my desire to give to the last just as much as to you. Isn't it lawful for me to do what I want? Isn't it off?" Starting at verse 15. "Isn't it lawful for me to do what I want to do with what I own? Or is your eye evil because I am good? So the last will be first, and the first will be last. For many are called, but few are chosen." As Jesus was going up to Jerusalem, he took the 12 disciples aside, and on the way he said to them, "Behold, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be delivered to the chief priests and scribes, and they will condemn him to death, and will hand him over to the Gentiles to mock, to scourge, and to crucify, and the third day he will be raised up." Then the mother of the sons of Zebedee came to him with her sons, kneeling and asking a certain thing of him. He said to her, "What do you want?" She said to him, "Command that these, my 2 sons, may sit, one on your right hand and one on your left hand in your kingdom." But Jesus answered, "You don't know what you are asking. Are you able to drink the cup that I am about to drink, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with?" They said to him, "We are able." He said to them, "You will indeed drink my cup, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with, but to sit on my right hand and on my left hand is not mine to give, but it is for whom it has been prepared by my Father." When the 10 heard it, they were indignant with the 2 brothers. But Jesus summoned them, saying, "You know that the rulers of the nations lord it over them, and their great ones exercise authority over them. It shall not be so among you, but whoever desires to become great among you shall be your servant. Whoever desires to be first among you shall be your bondservant, even as the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." As they went out from Jericho, a great multitude followed him. And behold, 2 blind men were sitting by the road, and they heard that Jesus was passing by, and cried out, "Lord, have mercy on us, you Son of David." The multitude rebuked him, telling them that they should be quiet. But they cried out even more, "Lord, have mercy on us, you Son of David." Jesus stood still and called them and asked, "What do you want me to do for you?" They told him, "Lord, that our eyes may be opened." Jesus, being moved with compassion, touched their eyes, and immediately their eyes received their sight, and they followed him. I was ready to keep reading, but we shall read more of that tomorrow. Oh, that was a good chapter. All right, closing out the day with Psalm chapter 86, verses 1 through 10. This is a prayer by David. "Hear, Yahweh, and answer me, for I am poor and needy. Preserve my soul, for I am godly. You, my God, save your servant who trusts in you. Be merciful to me, Lord, for I call to you all day long. Bring joy to the soul of your servant, for to you, Lord, do I lift up my soul. For you, Lord, are good and ready to forgive, abundant in loving kindness to all those who call on you. Hear, Yahweh, my prayer. Listen to the voice of my petitions. In the day of trouble I will call on you, for you will answer me. There is no one like you among the gods, Lord, nor any deeds like your deeds. All nations you have made will come and worship before you, Lord. They shall glorify your name. For you are great and do wondrous things. You are God alone. Amen. Wow, this was a very good day today. I am so happy that you stopped by. Please come on back for tomorrow, which will be day 144. And I will see you then. Have a fantastic day, everybody. Bye.